I guess I should come over to the middle. Eh? Nibe giza geigo Gime gwechowe nimigo Gijawe nimigo Nibe giza geigo Gime gwechowe nimigo Gijawe nimigo Nibe giza geigo Gime gwechowe nimigo Gijawe nimigo Nibe giza geigo Gime gwechowe nimigo Gijawe nimigo. Water, we love you. Water, we thank you. Water, we respect you. Aha, miguch.
Not only is water essential for humans, but it also links and maintains all ecosystems on the planet. Water sources provide drinking water and food for animals, a safe environment for wildlife, help regulate temperatures, and have many other environmental benefits. However, Earth's water sources are being impacted by climate change and other changes in the environment. These changes are becoming noticeable to Canadians all across the country, but one person in particular is Lydia Johnson, a member of Environment and Climate Change Canada's Youth Council. Lydia grew up along the shore of Lake Superior, which has been a major driver of her passion for nature and environmental protection. Let's all learn from Lydia about how freshwater sources are being impacted by changes in our environment and what we as individuals can do to protect and conserve local bodies of water to ensure they remain clean and healthy for us and for future generations.
And so ever since I can remember, I've felt so strongly about this place, these waters, these lands. I have memories when I was like very little, like camping out on the Sleeping Giant out there. So yeah, it's kind of been this like lifelong love. And then yeah, when I was in school, I started my undergrad thinking I wanted to be a doctor, and I very quickly realized that like my passion and what I cared most about was the environment. So I switched into an environmental program, and that was sort of when I started learning more about the environment from a Western scientific lens as well. And then one year I was out at Pakasaw National Park for a field school, and we were walking along the beach. We were looking for invasive species, and while I was like looking down at the sand, I started noticing all these little plastic nurdles in the sand. And it wasn't until that moment, like I look back and I think this is the exact moment that I really realized, oh wait, Lake Superior maybe isn't as pristine and perfect and you know, untouched as I once thought. These are a large interconnected system. They're one of the largest bodies of fresh water. Lake Superior specifically is the largest body of fresh water by surface area in the world. And the Great Lakes themselves, you know, I think it's something like 20% of the world's fresh water are held in these lakes. They provide drinking water to millions of people, not only in Canada, but in the United States as well, and thousands of different species from ones that we can't see, like zooplankton and invertebrates, to, you know, fish and birds. They also are a place for recreation and ceremony and culture, and so many people and species are connected. So they're very, very important, and I think especially in this time of like a changing climate, they are really important lakes, freshwater bodies that need to be protected.
I was called to the water in 2017 with the late Josephine Mandeman and the Water Walkers, and we walked from Spirit Mountain in Duluth, Minnesota, to Matane, Quebec. It was over a 3-month period, so I joined the Water Walkers at that time. But from that walk, once I returned from that walk, I was inspired to do something here for the rivers. The rivers here in Thunder Bay started calling to me and telling me I needed to do something for the rivers here in Thunder Bay.
Yeah, so I think that's like such a, you know, it's a question of, I feel like it's a question that doesn't have maybe just one answer. And I was gonna talk about this anyway, but we ended up singing this song, and Sheila was talking about Doreen Day and, you know, loving the water, respecting the water, caring for the water. And I think like it all comes back to that. I think it all comes back for me, you know, when I started this like wanting to protect the water, it wasn't even really like what can I do specifically. It was like I love the water and that's why I want to protect it. And so just treating the water and the surrounding area with care is a really good, I think, first step. I think other things that you can do are finding volunteer opportunities with local organizations. I know specifically here, things like conservation authorities, they're helping plant vegetation along the shoreline, or they're helping to do things to remove pollutants, or you can look for groups like Sheila's Water Walkers, right? And you can love and care for the water in that way. And yeah, I don't know, I like to treat the water like it's my friend. Like I talk to the water. I think it just, you know, building that connection makes you care that much more, and then your actions will show it.
And if I'll come sit. I'm gonna come and answer one of the questions.
Do you want to? I'll mic you up.
What you could do for the water.
Oh, here.
One of the questions that was asked to Liddy is what can she do about the water? And this is something that I tell everybody, that when I share the water teachings about the water walks, I share if the one thing that if you may not become water walkers, but if you could start using refillable water bottles and steer away from buying those plastic water bottles, supporting the big corporations, and because the water that's in those plastic bottles are contaminating the water and the environment. And that water over time, because of the plastic breaks down and then that water gets wasted. Mm-hmm. And we can't be doing that. And then participating in the water ceremonies that we walk ceremonies that we do will help. And then when we are around bodies of water, you know, you could even just go and speak to the water and tell her you love her, you respect her, and you thank her. Or even when you're having a shower, you know, speak to the water spirit. Tell her you love her and respect her and you love her. And then when that water leaves your home, goes through the sewer, it's going to eventually get back to Lake Superior. In Anishinaabe, Gitchigami, that's the Anishinaabe name for Lake Superior. And then that love is going to go out to Lake Superior, to the water spirit that lives there, to honor her.
As the most important substance on Earth, it is incredibly important that we protect our water sources, and there are actions that each of us can take to do this. As mentioned in the video, one of the simplest ways we can all help protect water sources is by using reusable water bottles instead of plastic ones. It's estimated that 85% of plastic water bottles end up as waste or end up polluting the natural environment, where they break down into smaller and smaller pieces known as microplastics. These microplastics end up polluting our waterways and releasing toxic chemicals into water sources, including drinking water. Using just one reusable water bottle can save 1,460 plastic bottles every year, which is 1,460 fewer plastic water bottles polluting the environment. Larger actions are needed as well, like protecting and restoring damaged ecosystems and ensuring we can provide safe water and sanitation for all. Overall, we must rethink our relationship with water in order to achieve a more sustainable water future. Protecting and conserving water sources will not only help humans and wildlife, but will also serve as a major solution to reducing the impacts of climate change.